The Miracle of Bolsena-Orvieto, Italy, 1263. In 1263, a German priest, Peter of Prague, stopped at Bolsena while on a pilgrimage to Rome. He is described as being a pious priest, but one who found it difficult to believe that Christ was actually present in the consecrated host. While celebrating Holy Mass above the tomb of Saint Christina, located in the church named for this martyr, he had barely spoken the words of consecration when blood started to seep from the consecrated host and trickle over his hands onto the altar and the corporal. The priest was immediately confused. At first, he attempted to hide the blood, but then he interrupted the Mass and asked to be taken to the neighboring city of Orvieto, the city where Pope Urban IV was then residing. The Pope listened to the priest's account and absolved him. He then sent emissaries for an immediate investigation. When all the facts were ascertained, he ordered the bishop of the diocese to bring to Orvieto the host and the linen cloth bearing the stains of blood. With archbishops, cardinals, and other church dignitaries in attendance, the Pope met the procession and, amid great pomp, had the relics placed in the cathedral. The linen corporal bearing the spots of blood is still reverently enshrined and exhibited in the Cathedral of Orvieto. It is said that Pope Urban IV was prompted by this miracle to commission St. Thomas Aquinas to compose the proper for a Mass and an office honoring the Holy Eucharist as the body of Christ. 1 year after the miracle, in August of 1264, Pope Urban introduced the saint's composition and by means of a papal bull instituted the feast of Corpus Christi. After visiting the Cathedral of Orvieto, many pilgrims and tourists journey to St. Christina's Church in Bolsena to see for themselves the place where the miracle occurred. From the north aisle of the church, one can enter the Chapel of the Miracle, where the stains on the paved floor are said to have been made by the blood from the miraculous host. The altar of the miracle is surmounted by a 9th-century canopy. It is now situated in the grotto of Saint Christina. A reclining statue of the saint is nearby. In August of 1964, on the 700th anniversary of the institution of the Feast of Corpus Christi, Pope Paul VI celebrated Holy Mass at the altar where the Holy Corporal is kept in its golden shrine in the Cathedral of Orvieto. 12 years later, the same pontiff visited Bolsena and spoke from there via television to the 41st International Eucharistic Congress, then concluding its activities in Philadelphia. During his address, Pope Paul VI spoke of the Eucharist as being a mystery great and inexhaustible. The Miracle of Daroca, Spain, 1239. The city of Daroca, located in northeastern Spain, is proud of its historical past. in its importance during Roman times, when it was the ninth staging post on the Roman military road from Laminium in a district then called Carpetania to Caesarea Augusta, now called Saragossa. Outside the city, the Roman consul Quintus Caecilius Metellus and his legions were repulsed in 143 BC. Beyond the town is the river Hiloka, on whose banks the chivalrous knight El Cid marched victoriously with his troops after a campaign against the Moors. The city's past seems still alive in its Roman, Moorish, and medieval walls, castles, towers, plazas, and streets. In its churches and museums can be found priceless art treasures of Roman, Gothic, and Renaissance influence. But of all the ancient structures and valuable art treasures, Daroca's greatest pride is the relic of the Sagrados Corporales, the sacred corporals, dating back to 1239, the year of the miracle. In that year, when the city of Valencia was under the reign of the Catholic king Don Jaime, the Saracen king Zain Moro decided to recapture the city with fresh troops brought from the northern states of Africa. The Catholic king learned of the Saracens' intentions, and knowing that his own troops were greatly outnumbered, he ordered an outdoor mass to be offered, encouraging his soldiers to receive the Holy Eucharist together with their captains. King Jaime assured his soldiers that if they were thus fortified, they would be able to do battle without fear and with purity on their lips. Immediately after the distribution of Holy Communion, the Saracens made a surprise attack. The priest was apparently bewildered and terrified by the sudden and fierce clash of arms. Instead of consuming the six remaining hosts, he placed them for safety between two corporals. To further ensure their safety, he quickly placed the clothes under rocks, a short distance from the altar. After the battle, as the Saracen troops retreated in disgrace, the Catholic soldiers returned and knelt before the altar to give thanks to God for their decisive victory. The priest, in the meantime, attempted to locate the hosts in their hiding place and had great difficulty in doing so until divine inspiration finally assisted him. After recovering the cloths, he unfolded them, but was amazed to find that the six hosts had disappeared, leaving six blood stains. Wondering what motives God had had for bringing about such a miraculous occurrence, he at last decided that it was a sign of God's protection and love for the Catholic troops. The priest then took the bloodied corporals to the soldiers for their inspection and veneration. Since the Mass had been offered in the field, well outside the city of Valencia, three towns, Teruel, Catalayud, and Daroca, all claimed that the miracle had occurred within their jurisdictions. All three claimed that the holy corporals should be given to them for safekeeping. The matter was long debated until it was finally decided that the matter would be settled by chance. All agreed that the cloths should be placed on the back of a mule and that the animal should be allowed to wander to whichever town nature would direct it. The mule made for the lower gate of the city of Daroca. A church was soon built in Daroca as a repository for the blood-stained corporals. Enlarged in the 15th and 16th centuries, it is now known as St. Mary's Collegiate Church. On the walls of the Holy Relics chapels are scenes of the miracle, along with numerous multicolored alabaster statues in medieval poses. This shrine contains the corporals on which the stains of blood are still clearly visible. The miracle is said to have been widely known in its day, and it is mentioned in many official documents, especially in documents of the year 1340. The miracle is said to have been the subject of much bibliography in the 15th century, and the story has been told by many a famous pen. For more than 7 centuries, the Sagrada Corporales have been Daroca's revered and cherished possession.